Hey there, YouTube. My name's Alway, and welcome back to Resistance: Fall of Man. And here we're in the chapter No Way Out in Northern Command in Cheshire, England. It's July the 13th, 1951. It's currently 3:30 in the morning. Game time. Is that what GMT stands for? Is that what game time stands for? Throw a lot of grenades in there. The important thing is not to let them overwhelm you. Which spent way too much time worrying about ammo to really think about. As I said, important thing, don't get overwhelmed. Spam grenades. Spam grenades. Spam more grenades. That's really all you can do. It's all. I suppose you could. I've got an idea now. Clear? Oh, there was help this way. Survived that last encounter. Alright, let's move. Okay. So this place is somewhat close quarter in nature, with some big rooms to worry about, like hell's the angel? Okay. That was somewhat simple. It really to really get overwhelmed by leapers, you have to really not be able to shoot. There's no friendly way to put that. If you are really to get overwhelmed by leapers, you really can't shoot. Which it's okay. I wasn't able to shoot in my earlier days of gaming either. This is somewhat close quarter. I'm using a sniper rifle. It's a wooden paddle. Picking my nose. I guess it's also prudent to say don't have your hand off. Keep both hands in the controller at all times. Don't like sticks. No. I don't mind them, but in hard mode, they're kind of frustrating. whether or not. Well, to be fair, aside from the initial encounter with these guys, they get somewhat easier. Whether or not that's because like they're easier to, they do less damage, or it's your perception is. That's a steal. What? I've gotten better at tossing grenades. Thought that was someone's leg. You can tell they were kind of, this must have been like a huge warehouse or something. Oh, this is reminiscent of the, this is kind of, being a history buff, I would definitely say this is reminiscent of World War II.
Damn it!
Should have moved my setup to my room a long time ago. Oh well. Don't mind Minecraft losing his temper in the background. Anyway, what was I saying? Being a history buff, like, it's, I know that during the air raids, or over England when Germany was bombing, or Nazi Germany was bombing British cities, most notably London, capital. The civilians and other such people would take shelter inside of train stations. And once they take, well, most people anyway, the children obviously got sent to other places for their own protection, but all three of them. I'm guessing that's the way I'm supposed to go. So yeah, during the bombing of Britain, they would send their children away for their safety, which had their own list of problems for their children. But Jesus Christ. Keeping ammunition right by where you sleep. I think someone's been using a shotgun as a teddy bear. Anyway. Explosives. Something to blow up. I don't like that sound. Enter a new type of chimera. As well read the thing now before I forget. Slip skulls. Slip skulls are cunning opportunists who prefer to take pot shots and make blind-siding attacks rather than face their opponents. With their speed and stealth, they excel as scouts and ambushers. Discovery of a slip skull requires immediate engagement to prevent them from summoning chimeran reinforcements. Explosives are the recommended response. Hybrid bullseye rifles and the slip skull's own Reaper carbines are also suitable, which would suggest you're able to utilize them. But, and now these enemies are real simple to deal with. You just keep moving, and you try not to be out in the open, that's for sure. And if you see red lasers, move. Game recommends using certain tactics. I would prefer to do my own thing if it helps me conserve bullets. I forget if these things do make a comeback in the second game. Oh, Jesus. Alright, well. Now's as good a time as any. Vehicles. Burrower. The Burrower is an armored transport capable of inserting Chimera directly into battle at a moment's notice. While unarmed, the Burrower does terrific damage with the excavating teeth on its face. Outside of combat, burrowers are used to develop Chimeran infrastructure. They have carved a network of tunnels throughout Britain to accommodate supply lines. Tunnels also serve to protect the power conduits found near Chimera structures. Yes, some slight spoilers, most of which I probably won't I might show, I'm not sure. When you do play this game over a second time around, you do get other weapons. I'm not entirely sure how many, because I've never actually finished the game a second time around that I remember. I do know that you can get a type of grenade, a second type of grenade, which you can't, an additional type of grenade, which you cannot get in this time, when you do this, in the first run. And you get the weapons that the Slip Skulls use. Which I guess I could probably showcase on a second run, perhaps. I'll do a second run around just to maybe showcase the weapons in action, possibly, maybe. Or I'll do possibly just like a small clip here and there, just when I pick them up and when I use them, possibly. It would involve me actually playing the game a second time around and actively hunting. But I wouldn't mind. Okay. I'm missing something. If I recall correctly, there's a switch around here somewhere. There's a switch. Yep. And it opens that door that I could just jump right past. Once again, full body suits. What the heck? Or rather, not full body, but closer to full body. What is the point of having your sleeves like... Oh. That might just be clothing that was never removed. So far, this supports the theory that there were just a bunch of lazy manuals at work on that day. Now, there's no enemies here. I'm at half health. But, still going. What's that? Oh, for crying out loud. Toro! Toro, ow. Never mind. health this time around. I'm ready to just... I think I'm gonna cause him to come, and then I'm just gonna run up the stairs and shoot him with something else. Yes, I've played this game before, as I said in the first vid, but I'm not history's best at remembering things. Which is ironic considering it. Oh my god, it takes like 2 grenades. Ow. It takes like 2 grenades to kill one of these things. Dang. Oh, for crying out loud. I mean, I know you gotta learn about your about your enemy. But how many of them do you gotta keep in captivity to figure stuff out? I can understand you might need to, you know, keep 1, 2, possibly 1 or 2 for you would need 1 to obviously study its habits, maybe figure out there's male-female breeding. But just have 3 just in captivity. I'm questioning whether or not it was from the Chimera brought them, or this is just one of the quote specimens that escaped.
I had been trying to radio Hale since the cave-in. I knew how the Chimera had found Northern Command, and more importantly, I knew why. They were after what the convoy had been carrying in Manchester. It had been carefully sealed in a specimen tank in our research lab. We thought it would be unable to call the Chimera from within the tank. We were badly mistaken. There was no way to warn Hale of the danger he was in. If he opened that tank, the result could be disastrous. What was inside would either kill him or control him.
Yes. And so there's some story exposition in that cutscene. The creature, or rather what was being transported in that convoy mentioned earlier in the game, is the creature in which has the ability to communicate with other Chimera. And obviously they stored it here at their HQ, which I'm guessing starts sending out calls for help. Starts sending out calls for help, which evidently were answered. And then the Chimera here, and the danger here is that I'm part Chimera now, so I could be at risk of being controlled by this thing. There's a steelhead in there somewhere. I think I just saw it. Okay, am I safe? No, of course I'm not safe. Okay. I have no clue where the heck I'm going. But now there's lights. I'm gonna presume the door I came in got locked. And, the door in which I must go is now open. I think one of those was a piece of intel. Alright. Some health here. And, really isn't much. I'm not really trying too hard to look for intel, but if I see it, I will definitely go for it. Most of my exploration is for all intents and purposes, for ammo and other badly needed resources. Bang. Okay. All those are dead, I believe. I suppose I do want to go back for the health. It's a, I know, it's somewhat hectic to watch considering I can't sprint. But, a few seconds. What's a few seconds gonna do, right? Get there. I believe there is a leaper swarm somewhere around here. But fortunately for me, there's a nice little bottleneck here. Running through bullets like crazy. Now, it's interesting to note that they... Never mind. I wouldn't... Only certain people find it interesting. I'll say it anyway, because I have nothing else to say. If you were paying attention when I read the description of the M5A2, which is this weapon in my hand, it says it fires a 303. Which I'm guessing they did. Oh wow, I missed my. Okay. What makes sense in this game's story arc, because obviously with the Chimeran threat, Jesus Christ, how many steelheads are in this one hallway? You wouldn't really have that. They wouldn't have really, you know, had a chance to go and. You really wouldn't have a time to, you would probably be more concerned about fighting the big aliens, the big bad aliens, rather than fighting each other. So the thought of using similar weaponry is very paramount. And here is an introduction to some enemies. Now, at first, I used to think those were the quote-unquote Cloven. But, as you'll soon discover, they are not Cloven. Also, if you listen closely, there's some beeping. Their radios are still active. So, there is some story exposition in there. Somewhere. Anyway. Come here. No, it wasn't come here I'm looking for. Weapons. We forgot to read the Hedgehog. Hedgehog grenade is a Chimeran anti-personnel munition. It is thrown like an ordinary hand grenade. Upon landing, it springs up and expands into a spawny cluster. As it kills at its kill height, the Hedgehog fires spawns in all directions, with enough force to pin targets against nearby walls. The effect is especially deadly in close quarters. Then the airfield grenade. Number 42 airfield grenade has been issued for combating Chimera in the tight spaces commonly found in urban conflicts. A thrown grenade adheres to most surfaces and immediately releases a cloud of flammable vapor. Once deployed, the cloud is ignited, creating a massive explosion. The resulting heat and pressure wave will cause vast injuries to anything caught in the blast. With their reliance on external cooling systems, Chimera is especially susceptible to damage. Alright. Okay. So now there's a new type of grenade to play around with, and it is especially the only real purpose. I only ever use it in emergencies and in a scenario, and against leapers possibly. But this next segment, if I recall correctly, is where I find the most use for them. Whether or not I actually do it correctly is obviously up to your discretion. So, moving on. There are these leaper pods. You can really only destroy them with grenades. And so, here's the airfield grenade in action. All I ever use them for is just this one segment. Because I really don't like it. Because if you let enough of them pop, they can hop out and hurt you all at once. Which at one point I made a mistake and shoot. I left too many in one piece. Whether or not that's because I spammed too many grenades or whatever, I don't remember. And as soon as they all spawned, they all hit me at once and killed me. So I've been rather weary of this one hallway. Though, suppose that is where you're supposed to learn about the leaper pods. More reading, yay. Leaper pods. Leapers are spawned from membrane sacs known as leaper pods. It is believed these pods are deposited by other Chimeran strains, possibly Widowmakers. Spawning is triggered by local vibrations. The pods function as living mines. Caution should be observed in Chimeran held territory, as early detection of leaper pods has the potential to save lives. Explosives such as grenade and rockets can destroy the pods before they release the leapers within. Which is why you saw me shooting it earlier and not doing jack. Yeah, really don't like the fact that I can't destroy them by shooting them, but I don't got much of a choice, really, so it doesn't bother me at all. Cutscene.
I knew Hale would eventually find the map room. Everything we had learnt about the Chimera in the past 2 decades was in there. We had maps of the Chimera invasion spreading through Russia, autopsy records of Chimeran creatures, charts of the death tolls across Europe. These were numbers we didn't even disclose to our own soldiers. There were files that showed the progression of the Chimeran virus in humans. In over 6,000 cases, there were no records of any form of human resistance. There were also detailed schematics of our specimen tank and what was in it. We call them Angels. They're the most powerful of all the Chimera. We believe the Angels control other forms of Chimera via some form of telepathy. For all I knew, this one was already controlling Hale.
Okay. If you heard anything during that cutscene, particularly along the lines of thumping, sorry, I was thumping my mic stand while I was waiting. Yeah, the really only true way to get this thing to work is if I up the sensitivity of the sound, which makes it easier for it to pick up intermittent background noise like buttons and tapping. So, this is where you learn some stuff about yourself. And Okay, what was I talking about now? Lost my train of thought. Say something about using the airfield grenades. Yeah, I remember now. So, when it comes to leaper pods, the only way to deal with them is explosives, which is another reason to save your underslung grenade launcher on your M5A2. But I don't do that because it's M5A2 underslung rail is good. Underslung grenade launcher is good for other purposes, such as getting rid of large hordes of Chimera. Wow. Do you mind playing your own thing? Alright. And door closed behind me, typical. Sorry about that. Minecraft was literally sitting right next to the mic and leaning close to it. Wasn't sure if you were able to hear hear him tapping on his phone. So, what were we doing? Ah, right. I remember now. Yep, bad memory. Okay. I'm gonna cut the recording here. It's been 30 somewhat minutes. So, this is Alloway once again, signing off. I will see you in the next video.